carry a bunch of stuff. You're going on a picnic. But if you're not going on a long picnic and taking a bunch of snacks with you, you need to have at least a bare minimum of some tools. And of course, the tools you're going to carry, you want to make sure you know how to use them. And that's part of what we're going to do tomorrow. Here's a little tiny under your seat saddlebag. And so in here you have some basic things. What do you think you might want to have with you on a ride every time you go?
Spare tube.
Spare tube? Okay.
Money for a beer.
Money for
money for that stop, that emergency stop. Okay, so we got a spare tube. And that's probably one of the most common things that you might have happen is get a flat tire. So you should have a spare tube. That's usually the quickest way to, get your tire going again. There are some instant spray things that you can put in your tubes, but that's a lot more expensive and it's a one-time. But your spare tube, and we're going to let you learn how to change this tomorrow. But if you don't have adequate air, your rim, the metal rim on the inside of your tire is going to hit your tube and you're going to get 2 little puncture marks. We call that a snake bite. Just kind of a little funny trivia thing. So how are you going to air your tube up? Your pump. And there's all kinds of pumps. This is my garage pump. You're not going to take that in the road with you. But that's in the back of my car, so if I check my tire when I get there, your big pump. But you can get these little portable pumps that attach onto your down tube. Okay, so there's various kinds. I just bought a really neat one from Tom that has a little tube pump, and I can also use the CO2 cartridge.
It's full CO2.
Okay. There's CO2. And so that's a one-time only instant inflate, but it's like you put it on there, your tire's done, instead of pumping, pump for a couple of minutes. And for girls that don't have a lot of triceps, or guys, pumping on this thing can kind of get hard when you get into 110 pounds of pressure. So sometimes this is really handy on the side of the road when you're hot, tired, sweaty, and everybody else is waiting for you to hurry up and change your tire. So, but you want to learn how to use this kind of stuff, and we'll practice tomorrow. So you can have your spare tube, and this little thing can fit in my little underneath seat, and then I've got these little guys. Anybody know what those are?
Tire levers.
Tire levers. So I'm going to use those to help pry my tire off the rim, get my tube out, put my tube back in. And so those are a nice little inexpensive piece of plastic that we're going to use tomorrow. Here's a small little multi-tool, which has got like a set of little Allen wrenches, the hex keys that you can use to loosen all kinds of spots or tighten all kinds of things on the bike. So those are handy to have if you know how to use them. Because you don't want to make adjustments, especially on your derailleurs. Pretty well golden rule is don't touch the derailleur, take it to the mechanic. Okay? You can change your oil on your car, but you're not going to go take the transmission out. There's some things you do, there's some things you go to the mechanic. Once you've learned how to do it, there are some minor adjustments you can make on your derailleurs, but most of us go to the shop and say, hey, it's doing that funny thing again, and the guys will fix it. That's what mechanics are for, right?
Yeah.
And you buy your mechanics beer all the time, and then they're really nice to you. Especially Tom's Mechanics. Okay, any other tools for the road? Okay, so we got some tools, we got a flat, we can fix that. If you actually get a big hole in your tire, you might get another flat, even though you fixed your tube and then you don't have another spare tube. So you might want to have a patch kit, and a really good emergency patch kit. Anybody know something that's really tough? It's really inexpensive to carry.
$1 bill.
Duct tape, dollar bill. Dollar bill, really inexpensive. You should have at least $5 on you in case you have to stop, make a call, get a cab. Yeah, a debit card won't fix your tire, so a $1 bill or two helps. Because you can take a $1 bill and they're pretty tough unless you do the rip this way, but if you fold it up and put it on the inside of your tire against where the hole is, it'll patch and you can put your tube in and do that. Tom's got this little waterproof little case here. Ooh, that's an old picture, Tom. Oh my gosh, she's got hair.
Is it black?
When does it expire? I can't.
You know I caught all this
It
on
expires
video.
at 05.
Here, let me see.
Not 05.
Expires 05/11/05.
Let me see it.
You don't need a license. Is that your spare one? Anyway, he's got this little clip with some couple of dollar bills
Oh, yeah,
and
it is 05.
a license. And see, I have the same kind of thing. I have my debit
This is
card, my
Tom
driver's
with
license,
hair.
my health insurance card. So if you're riding with a group, hopefully people in your group know who you are and who to call if you get hurt. And sometimes that's going to happen, so you want to be prepared. Make that emergency call, buy a glass of water. If you're by yourself, what would happen if you had a crash and you comes out of the road? Would anybody know? They might track that down. Your driver's license doesn't tell them who to call. So there's these really neat things that people get. It's called a road ID. It's got a little metal plate. It's like a diabetic alert, medic alert. It's got whatever you want to put on there. Name, address, who to call, allergies, blood type. They even have some new ones now where they have a code on here, and it can be on. It'll link them to a computer. When the hospital gets this, they type that code in on roadid.com, and they get your whole medical history, and you can update and change that. Those ones are a little bit more expensive, but this basically you can put on your wrist or your ankle, and it's a really good way of letting people know who you are and who to call if they find you. And that saved a lot of people's life, especially having major medical conditions on there, because then they don't give you the wrong thing at the hospital. So it'll speak for you.
Cell phones, right here.
Oh yeah, cell phone,
You put in your cell phone, ICE.
in case of emergency. And
What I have is I have 4 numbers because my wife's cell phone is never on, so she's the last one on the list.
yeah, but that way, first responders know that, and they like you to put ICE. So I have, Tamara, John, Fred, whoever, and then those people they can call, and that helps with your road ID thing. And you're going to carry your phone, of course, you can put it in your little box at the front or in your back pocket or your jersey.
In a baggie.
In a baggie, yeah, if it's not waterproof.
Because even if it's not raining, if you're
If
sweating.
you're sweating, yeah, you can do that. You don't want to have it somewhere it's going to bounce out of your pocket and drop. Worst thing is you're going along somewhere and you drop something and you're more focused on the phone and you have a crash. So if you got to use your phone, of course, don't be pedaling and trying to drive and do that. It's hard enough to get a drink of water while you're driving, let alone text. So it's even harder on a bike than in a car.
I think you hit it on.
That's the main stuff. And Saturday we'll practice doing a
A flat.
flat.
Wow.
Okay.
Questions on the flats and the equipment?